Have you ever felt that chilling sensation, that cold shiver down your spine when someone, perhaps someone who once cared deeply, or even just a fleeting glance, suddenly stops looking at you? It's not because they dislike you, but as if you've become transparent, no longer captivating their attention. It's like your worth, after years of trying, suddenly evaporated. We grow up with an unspoken belief we must be beautiful, capable, charming, and self-sacrificing. We feel we must wear a perfect mask. Carl Jung called this the persona, to be accepted, to be loved, to avoid being left behind in this world. We meticulously paint ourselves from our lipstick to every word and smile. Is it exhausting? Absolutely. But we tell ourselves it's the price of being valuable. But here's a harsh truth. These things have limits. Lipstick fades, beauty wanes with time, and charm can sometimes just be a strained effort. Then comes the moment you realize you're adrift, with nothing to cling to when those external values no longer hold anyone's attention. Carl Jung saw this tragedy clearly. He believed that true allure, the essence that makes people unable to look away, isn't about what you try to project. It's when you dare to strip it all away, to return to your deepest self, your original self, the true, whole individual. He called this the process of individuation, becoming a unique, complete, and unshakable individual. When that happens, the energy radiating from you becomes undeniable, irrespective of age or appearance. So, today, I don't want us to talk about superficial secrets. We're going to talk about how a woman truly builds her essence from within, how she finds herself again, so that no matter what life throws at her, she remains a living magnet, attracting all eyes with her indestructible true nature. There are 9 qualities that, when you dare to delve into them and live by them, will truly transform you. Don't scroll past. If you're tired of those shallow seduction secrets that still leave you searching for your true spark, then this article is your answer. We'll dive deep into the soul through the lens of Carl Jung, who showed that true attraction isn't about what you perform, but who you are at your core. Stay. Listen carefully, and you'll find the power to become a woman who is not just free, but truly irresistible. This could be the moment that changes how you see yourself and attraction forever. 1. Being honest with yourself, the time you dared to face your inner demon. I remember one time, after an important meeting, feeling a knot of anger lodged in my throat because a colleague had stolen my idea. I wanted to speak up, but instead, I forced a smile and said, "It's fine," just to maintain the image of being easygoing. Or that searing jealousy when a close friend bought their dream home, yet I forced effusive congratulations on social media. I thought this was professional, wearing that perfect mask persona to be accepted. But at night, that anger, that resentment kept me awake, a suffocating lump in my throat. A female CEO I once admired, Sarah, always projected an image of strength with no hint of vulnerability. Everyone saw her as iron-willed. But at a mental wellness conference, Sarah unexpectedly choked up, sharing about the years she battled severe anxiety, the nights she cried over her fear of failure and financial insecurity, all hidden from view. She said, "I used to believe I had to be perfect for people to trust me. But now I know, the moment I dared to admit my very human fears, I could truly breathe." And strangely, my partners and employees didn't lose faith. They looked at me with deeper empathy and trust. In that moment, she shed her mask. She became greater than ever, and her story resonated widely. The instinct to conceal our darker corners, our negative emotions like anger, jealousy, or fear, is deeply human. Society teaches us to present our most perfect version, especially as women, to be loved and accepted. But this very concealment creates an immense psychological burden, a rift between our true selves and the selves we project. Carl Jung called these disowned parts our shadow. He argued that the shadow doesn't just contain negative traits, it's also a reservoir of hidden energy, confidence, and assertiveness that we discard for fear of judgment. Many mistakenly believe that facing your shadow means indiscriminately exposing everything or condoning negative behaviors without change. That's not the case. Suppressing or denying our painful past hinders psychological growth, like trying to patch a crack without addressing its root cause. We exhaust incredible amounts of energy maintaining these dark secrets. To be truly honest with yourself, you need to begin by recognizing and accepting the existence of your shadow within you. and learning to consciously integrate it into your whole being. This means you might feel anger, but you learn to transform that anger into motivation for change, rather than distorting it into a fake smile. When you stop battling the imperfect parts of yourself, your inner energy is no longer drained by maintaining a facade. You begin to allow yourself to be your authentic self, embracing every spectrum of emotion, both light and dark. When you stop fighting your own shadow, an inner peace naturally radiates outwards. People look at you and see genuine authenticity. They don't feel the pressure to be perfect themselves. They are naturally drawn to you because they feel safe to be themselves around you. They sense your authenticity, and that's a primal allure, infinitely more powerful than any adorned beauty. Your energy of integrity and self-acceptance becomes an invisible magnet. 2. The weight of silence, knowing when to keep your mouth shut. In online political debates, I used to think I had to rebut every point to prove my view was right to win, or that feeling of needing to fill every silent gap on dates with words, fearing others would find me boring. What happened then? I ended up exhausted and nothing was resolved. Everything just got more tangled. I once witnessed a tense board meeting where two directors spoke endlessly, one trying to outdo each other. On the other side, an older woman, Maria, simply sat there, her eyes calm, saying nothing. She would occasionally nod subtly or look deeply at the person speaking. I thought she was being overshadowed, but strangely, as the meeting progressed, the other two became increasingly unsure, revealing weaknesses in their arguments. In the end, it was the silent Maria who posed the pivotal, concise question that untangled the entire issue. Her silence wasn't a lack of voice. It was an invisible pull, compelling others to pause and reflect, respecting her wisdom. In a noisy world that constantly encourages us to speak up, the ability to be silent becomes a rare power. We often equate our self-worth with our ability to express ourselves through words, through constant visibility. However, silence isn't passivity or fear. Instead, it's an act of self-mastery and inner wisdom. Carl Jung believed that deep wisdom often doesn't reside on the noisy surface. It lies in deep listening, contemplation, in the quiet spaces where the inner voice from the self can speak. This allows you to respond selectively rather than reacting impulsively or emotionally. Many women fear that silence will make them invisible or overlooked in competitive environments or social settings. They worry that if they don't speak, they'll be seen as weak, incompetent, or lacking opinions. This often leads to over-talking, saying unnecessary things, or speaking just to fill gaps, inadvertently diminishing the value of their words. To possess the weight of silence, you need to learn to create space for inner stillness. Practice taking a deep breath before responding, allowing yourself to observe the situation before speaking. When you control the urge to speak, you'll begin to select what's truly worth saying. And when you do speak, your words will carry far more weight and impact. Their words carry significantly more weight. Others automatically listen, knowing that when they speak, it's worth hearing. Their stillness becomes a calming anchor where all the noise subsides, and others feel drawn to that tranquility. They don't get caught up in pointless verbal battles. Instead, they become the ones who guide the conversation or gracefully bring it to a close. Their presence gains depth and a positive mystique. 3. The clear boundary setter, knowing when to say no. Have you ever felt spontaneously drained after saying yes to working overtime when you were already overwhelmed, or agreeing to join a school committee you didn't genuinely want to be on? You thought you were being helpful, being liked, but then you felt your personal boundaries being trampled. It's like you were turning yourself into a faded, tired version of yourself just to please everyone. When I was younger, I had a friend named Emily who was so kind that she'd do anything for anyone, from company tasks to helping friends move on weekends. She was always there when someone needed her. Then one day, she collapsed from exhaustion at her desk. When she woke up, the first thing she did was send a group email to all her friends and colleagues, explaining that she needed rest and would learn to decline requests beyond her capacity. At first, some people were offended, but gradually, everyone respected her more, and requests became more selective. Her firm no didn't push people away. Instead, it helped her find quality relationships where respect was mutual and she had more energy for what truly mattered. Saying no is a powerful act of setting personal boundaries. In modern society, especially for women, there's an unspoken pressure to always be kind, helpful, and self-sacrificing to be liked and accepted. This leads to constantly overstepping one's own limits, resulting in physical and mental exhaustion, and more importantly, losing one's sense of self. Carl Jung emphasized the importance of building a strong ego in the process of individuation. This ego isn't about arrogance, but about the ability to recognize and protect what belongs to you, understanding the boundary between yourself and the outside world. Many mistakenly believe that setting boundaries is selfish or will upset others. They fear being seen as difficult, uncaring, or excluded from relationships. This often leads to the people-pleaser syndrome, constantly trying to satisfy others at the cost of one's own well-being. When the ego is weak, we are easily assimilated or devoured by others' expectations, gradually losing ourselves. To become a clear boundary setter, you need to start by clearly identifying your own limits regarding time, energy, emotions, and personal values. Learn to say no politely but firmly, without lengthy explanations. You don't need to justify your decision. When you do this, you're sending a clear message that your time, energy, and emotions are valuable, and you won't easily be taken advantage of. Their clarity and decisiveness are striking. They aren't easily read. Others respect them more because they respect themselves. The energy of that self-respect is strangely attractive. They are no longer a woman who is easily taken advantage of, but an independent individual with firm convictions, and that is profoundly captivating. Their relationships become higher quality based on genuine mutual respect. 4. Living your own life, not needing anyone to complete you. Has your life ever revolved solely around one person, your spouse, partner, or even your children? Do you feel adrift, aimless, when that person isn't around? It's as if your worth is tied to someone else, and you wouldn't know what to do without them. I once had a neighbor named Carol. She was a full-time homemaker who devoted her entire life to her husband and children. When her children grew up and her husband retired, she suddenly felt empty and lost. After nearly 3 years of struggle, Carol began taking a pottery class, joined a book club at the community library, and even personally renovated her backyard garden. Though these were small things, each time I saw her, her eyes seemed to sparkle a little more, as if she were building a new universe just for herself. She no longer waited for someone to fill her void. Instead, that self-created universe attracted others and made them want to enter it. She was living proof that being alone doesn't mean being lonely. Society often defines a woman's worth through her relationships: whose daughter she is, whose wife she is, whose mother she is. This leads to a deep dependence on others to shape one's identity and find meaning in life. When these relationships change or are lost, a woman can feel empty and directionless. Carl Jung believed that every person has an inner center, a hero-heroine archetype waiting to be discovered. True happiness doesn't come from seeking a missing half to complete you, but from becoming a whole, self-sufficient individual. Many women are taught that happiness is finding your other half. This inadvertently places a burden on both parties in a relationship, making one dependent on the other for a sense of completeness. Conversely, independent women are often labeled selfish, unapproachable, or not needing a man. These stereotypes prevent them from building rich lives for themselves. To live your own life, you need to start by finding your anchor within yourself, discovering your inner center. This means actively building diverse interests, goals, and relationships beyond romantic partnerships. Explore what truly fascinates you, what you want to learn or experience, no matter how small. When you stop waiting for someone to complete you, you realize you are already a complete, fascinating world. Their energy is free, autonomous, and brimming with enthusiasm. They are an intriguing universe that others want to step into, rather than an empty space that needs filling. Everyone around them feels inspired because they are living proof of a self-sufficient, vibrant life, not dependent on anyone else to define their worth. Their inner fullness radiates an undeniable appeal. 5. The potent gentleness, attracting with authentic femininity. Have you ever thought you had to toughen up, be sharp-tongued, or decisive like men to be strong in the workplace? To fight for your place? To prove you're not inferior? as if gentleness were weakness or outdated in America's fierce competitive environment. I once worked with a senior vice president named Michelle. She led a department full of strong-willed male engineers. When conflicts arose in projects, she never raised her voice or used her authority. She would gently invite each person into her office, listen patiently, nod, and ask profound questions. Sometimes she'd simply smooth her hair or offer a soft smile. It was precisely this calm, powerful gentleness that made even the most hot-headed individuals instinctively lower their voices and resolve issues peacefully. Her gentleness wasn't submission. It was a soft power that made others instinctively want to cooperate and listen as they sensed her respect and wisdom. In modern society, women often feel pressured to embody masculine qualities like assertiveness, rationality, and competitiveness to succeed. This inadvertently leads them to reject their innate feminine qualities such as softness, intuition, active listening, and empathy, qualities where they naturally excel. Jung stated that within every man, there is a feminine part, anima, and within every woman, there is a masculine part, animus. True strength doesn't come from developing only one side, but from integrating both sides. Gentleness is often mistaken for weakness, passivity, or merely a way to please others. Many women try to become more masculine to gain respect at work, inadvertently losing their unique strengths. They believe they must fight or control to be recognized, failing to realize that gentleness and softness can wield a powerful, invisible authority. To harness this potent gentleness, you need to learn to rediscover the power of softness, of receptivity, of active listening. These are the true beauties of the anima. You don't need to fight or control to be validated. Instead, blend the decisiveness of your animus with the nurturing quality of your anima. This combination creates a unique, irresistible strength that allows you to be flexible and effective in any situation. Their serenity and warmth are palpable. Others feel comfortable and safe in their presence. There's no need to be cautious or guarded because they perceive a strength that doesn't need to flaunt itself, a beauty of balance and harmony. The allure emanating from a woman who harmonizes her personality traits and uses soft power to resolve issues is deeply profound and lasting. 6. Experience and growth. Lessons from a life of turmoil. That moment you look back at a major failure, a broken relationship, an unspeakable loss, for example, being suddenly laid off after years of dedication, and once thought you couldn't overcome it. There are times you just want to hide those scars, pretend they never happened. An aunt in my family, Aunt Susan, experienced a massive upheaval, losing her dream job after 20 years of dedication at age 55. For months, she withdrew, unwilling to see anyone. Then one day, she started attending a community support group and later volunteered to organize job-seeking workshops for older adults. She didn't dwell on her pain, but shared how she found the strength to get back on her feet, how she learned to let go of her old career, and how she found new meaning in life by helping others. Her stories weren't sorrowful, but full of strength and wisdom, inspiring many in the community to find hope and resilience through her journey. Life isn't always a bed of roses. Each of us has scars, dark moments, and failures we wish to bury. However, these barren lands are precisely where the deepest lessons, the precious gems of wisdom, reside. Carl Jung believed that every experience, good or bad, is an indispensable part of the individuation journey. What lies in your personal unconscious, your unhealed wounds, your unnamed pains, if faced, accepted, and processed, will transform into wisdom, depth, and compassion. Hiding or denying a painful past hinders psychological growth. It's like trying to patch a crack without addressing the root cause, allowing the fissure to fester and potentially rupture at any time. Many fear being labeled a failure if they admit past struggles, or they try to maintain a flawless image. To transform experience into strength, you need to actively confront your scars, allow yourself to fully feel the pain, and then extract the lessons. Turn those scars into stories, those pains into lessons. Don't avoid the past. Integrate it into who you are now. Every challenge is a test to understand yourself better, to unearth treasures from the wastelands of your soul. This process helps you develop resilience and compassion, not just for others, but for yourself. Their depth, understanding, and compassion are profound. They are someone who can empathize, offering genuine advice drawn from real experience. Others seek them out as a living source of wisdom, a steadfast anchor, because they sense the authenticity and strength forged through life's storms. Their beauty isn't just external, it's the profound etching of a soul that has experienced, learned, and matured. 7. Living joyfully, naturally optimistic, finding the sunshine in the rain. Do you ever find yourself constantly complaining or getting upset by minor annoyances like traffic jams on your commute in Los Angeles or long lines at the supermarket on weekends? It's as if a gray cloud persistently follows you, keeping you steeped in negativity. I have a neighbor named Maria who faces rush hour traffic in San Francisco every morning. One Christmas Eve, the whole neighborhood lost power and everyone was grumpy, complaining. Maria just smiled, lit some candles, made hot cocoa, and played Christmas music on a portable speaker. She said, "Come on, let's just see this as an opportunity to experience a more classic Christmas." Strangely, her attitude wasn't fake. It was like a fresh breeze that blew away the heaviness, making the whole neighborhood feel lighter, transforming an inconvenience into a warm memory. Her joy wasn't carefree. It was a conscious choice to find light in any circumstance. The power of optimism isn't about naivety or blindness to life's difficulties. It's a cultivated psychological attitude, an active ability to seek out and focus on positive aspects, even in adverse circumstances. In Jungian psychology, there's a process akin to alchemy, transforming lead, negative experiences, pain, into gold, growth, joy, meaning. This means you don't avoid difficulties, but transform them into opportunities for growth and find joy in the process. Many often mistake optimism for always smiling, ignoring problems, or suppressing sadness, but that's toxic positivity, another form of persona. Forcing yourself to be cheerful when you're inwardly crumbling creates inner conflict and chronic fatigue. Conversely, constant complaining turns us into victims of life, losing the ability to proactively make changes. To live joyfully and naturally optimistically, you need to learn to allow yourself to fully experience all emotions, even negative ones, but not let them control you. Choose to view things through a positive lens. Problems will arise, but learn to find the silver lining, to discover meaning even in adversity. Replenish your own energy battery by focusing on the good things, no matter how small. It's a conscious choice, a skill refined over time, helping you become the architect of your own joy. They are like a mobile energy battery. Their smiles are genuine, their optimism heartfelt, making everyone around them feel uplifted and wanting to be happier. They bring hope, a contagious positive energy that everyone wants to be near. Their beauty comes from their inner peace and their ability to find joy in the simplest things in life. 8. Radiating good energy. You are the guiding light. Have you ever met someone who, just by being near them, makes you want to be better? They don't say much, they aren't preachy, but you feel an odd energy, an inner push. During a community meeting to address neighborhood waste problems, everyone was complaining and blaming each other. Then a woman named Brenda, a retired teacher, stood up. She didn't criticize or lament. She simply shared how she voluntarily spent one morning a week cleaning a nearby park and then asked, "What if each of us just did one small thing?" Her eyes, her calmness, and her positive energy ignited a small flame in everyone's hearts. After that meeting, a volunteer group was formed, and the park genuinely improved. She inspired simply by her presence and actions, without needing eloquent speeches. When a woman deeply undergoes the process of individuation and lives fully as her true self, the energy radiating from her isn't merely personal magnetism. It carries a numinous quality, an invisible power that can influence others unconscious. It's the energy of wholeness, clear purpose, and inner balance. This energy doesn't require grand words or ostentatious actions. It naturally spreads, touching the deepest parts of others' souls. Many try to inspire with empty platitudes or generic motivational sayings. They think status, wealth, or fame are necessary to exert influence. But true energy doesn't come from slogans or superficial glamour. It comes from the consistency between words and actions, from living authentically according to one's values, and from an inner tranquility. To become a source of radiating good energy, you need to focus on living authentically as yourself and acting according to your core values. There's no need for grand speeches or rallying cries. the way you live, the way you face life, the way you treat others. These are living lessons. When you are confident in your true self and live in alignment with it, the energy from your inner wholeness and authenticity naturally transfers to others, awakening their best qualities and potentials they might not even know they possess. They are not just attractive, they elevate those around them. They inspire others to strive higher, to explore their own potential, because they are living proof of an authentic and purposeful life. Being with them, you feel encouraged, empowered to pursue your own path, because their energy is pure and altruistic. 9. Simplicity reigns, the beauty of refined purity. There are times when life suddenly becomes overly complicated with unnecessary things. The feeling of exhaustion from trying to put on a show, attempting to create fake mystery to attract attention, or playing cat and mouse games in social relationships. I have a friend named Chloe, a successful artist with an incredibly simple style of dress and lifestyle. She doesn't chase luxury brand trends. Her wardrobe consists of just a few basic but refined, high-quality pieces. She speaks directly, without beating around the bush or playing mind games. Once, I saw her at a lavish art exhibition where everyone else was dressed elaborately, yet Chloe stood out remarkably precisely because of her minimalism and authenticity. Her beauty wasn't in external sparkle, but in her inner purity, which made others feel completely at ease and trusting because they knew she was simply herself, with nothing to hide. In a world filled with complexity, ostentation, and calculated relationships, simplicity and purity become incredibly valuable qualities. We often get caught up in creating a complex, mysterious image to attract attention or engaging in tiring social games. However, genuine purity and authenticity are the foundation for lasting relationships and inner peace. After integrating the various parts of oneself, like the shadow, anima, animus, in the process of individuation, it leads to clarity, eliminating unnecessary complexity arising from inner conflicts or social games. When your soul has been cleared and purified, everything external naturally becomes simpler and more refined. Many mistakenly believe simplicity is boring, lacks personality, or fails to make an impression. They try to put on a show, creating artificial layers of mystery to gain attention, but inadvertently exhaust themselves and become inauthentic. This also creates an invisible barrier in relationships, making it difficult for others to trust and connect deeply. To achieve the beauty of refined purity, you need to learn to recognize the value of truth and simplicity. Strip away unnecessary layers, both physical and mental. Live authentically with transparency in your words and actions. When you stop trying to prove or conceal, everything in your life will become lighter, clearer. This is a process of shedding unnecessary burdens, and that liberation naturally radiates attraction. Their reliability and straightforwardness are a breath of fresh air. They bring a sense of lightness and safety because you know they are truly themselves, hiding nothing. The beauty of this refined purity is timeless and always creates lasting allure because it taps into the universal desire for authenticity and inner peace. It is the beauty of a soul unburdened and free to shine. These qualities aren't techniques to attract someone. They are the result of a long journey home, a process of individuation where you dare to face your shadow, integrate parts of yourself, find a steadfast center, and live fully as your true self. This essence is forged through life's trials and triumphs. It cannot be duplicated, and Jung himself believed in the power of this process. We often seek secrets from the outside to become attractive, from beauty treatments to dating advice. But Carl Jung showed that true allure, that irresistible quality, isn't something you can buy or put on persona. It's who you are. When you dare to shed every mask, every expectation placed upon you, and simply live fully as your authentic self, that is when you become irresistible. That's when the energy from your true self is unleashed. It doesn't just attract, but touches the deepest parts of others' souls. It is authenticity, wholeness, and an intrinsic vitality that cannot be faked. This path isn't easy. It requires courage to look at the parts of yourself you dislike, patience to heal old wounds, and honesty to live by your true values. Sometimes you'll feel lonely on this journey because not everyone is ready or brave enough to walk it with you. But remember, it is your journey, and its reward is true freedom, a beauty that doesn't fade with time or societal judgment. It is the beauty of a woman who has found herself and lives completely. Today, what burden will you remove from the mask persona you're wearing? What part of your shadow will you dare to look at, which you once feared? Start there, because when your true self speaks genuinely, the whole world will automatically listen, and your light will shine. And you'll see when you are truly, completely yourself, without apology, without explanation, that's when you shine brightest. No need for external praise. That light will naturally draw all eyes to you, an attraction that is not just beautiful, but deeply profound, a timeless beauty. If this article resonated with you, please give it a like and share your story in the comments. That's how we spread this light together. Don't forget to subscribe to the Love and Psyche channel to continue your journey of discovering inner strength and becoming the best version of yourself.